wonderful. I am Pope, your narrator here on Pugmire What Lies Buried. But today, we've got something special for you. We've got a Q&A today. But before I hand you over to our magnanimous and magnificent host, let me introduce you to who we've got with us today. Unfortunately, we've got some technical difficulties with Marcus, and Alicia had life, hit her out of the blue. So unfortunately, they won't be with us. Marcus, if you're out there, just if you can jump in later, just let us know. But aside from that, let's get to the rest of our fantastic cast. First off, Em, how you doing?
Oh man, it's a chill Sunday over in M-Town. Having a good old time. Happy to be here. You can't probably all know me as Hanklin Foxhound, a wholesome little fluffer muffin. I am a less wholesome fluffer muffin, and you can find my content all over the web. Mainly I post about it up here at AnthramaStreams on Twitter. But I DM on Monday nights for Level 1 Geek, which is a team I am a part of. We blog, we TTRPG actual plays, we promote Kickstarters. If you want to work with us, hit us up. You can find our website, www.level1geek.com. That's me. I don't even know if I was supposed to say all that. My brain is too smooth today. Sorry, y'all.
A mood. Someone else who's having a... with the rest of us this Sunday is Drakku. How are you doing, friend?
I'm physically here. That's a start. Hi, I'm Drakku. I work a night shift, so it's been a week, and I am here. You can also find me around the internet at most places that have that username. Except for the ones where it gets taken before I can grab it, which is that happens sometimes. And yeah, I'm usually playing. You can catch me a couple nights a week, usually Tuesday nights, in a Waterdeep Dragon Heist campaign, and then today in the wonderful, very fun Pugmire, and a podcast, a D&D actual play podcast, and that's me.
Awesome. Someone who is always awesome is our good friend Celeste. How you doing, friend?
I'm doing all right. Hi guys, I'm Celeste PLS with way too many underscores on Twitter. I'm Celeste Shepherd here on Twitch. I don't do a whole lot of streaming of my own, but you can catch me on other people's channels every now and again. Like right here, right now, with these amazing people and my tired self who, gosh, I think everybody's had a weekend and a half, so...
But someone who is going to... Yes, someone who is going to guide us through that weekend, through this survival, and through all of your wonderful questions is the regular host of Weaver's Circle, Spence. Hello, friend. And please take it away.
Oh, hi. Sure. Well, first, so I may be looking back and forth because, fun fact, I'm also the technician for this show. And I love it so much. So welcome, everybody, to this special episode of Pugmire. And we get to interview the cast that is here. We get to interview our wonderful narrator, who is also here. And if our other players end up being available and showing up, that's amazing, too. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Spence. I also go by ResonantMoon, and yeah, that's all good. You all don't care about me, though. You care about these good doggos that are all around us, and I do too. So first of all, to get started, I have not prepped any questions, so this is going to be very freeform. You're welcome. It's gonna get silly. So, first of all, let's talk about the goodest of good boys, as far as loving and supportive, and just wanted to make sure that everybody is doing their best. Hanklin, my friend, am So where did Hanklin come from?
Oh, what a great question. So, Hanklin is based off of my sister's dog. She got this dog shortly before she got married to her wonderful wife, and they have raised up they call him Hanklin B. Roosevelt. And he is just this absolute goober dog. He's the biggest in like our family dog pack, but he is the biggest baby. Like he just wants to be over there, and every time he gets worked up, he just whoa 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 whoa. And so every time I have like a head cannon that whenever Hanklin gets upset, he starts yelling, going, "Oh my goodness, I don't like what's happening anymore." So I'm waiting till he's very stressed out so that he can start doing that, because that's so hound-like, is to just stand there, "Oh my lord." So yeah, that's where Hanklin came from. Ryan, if you're watching this, love you.
And speaking of the good boys and being all supportive and everything, let's talk to our friend Drakku about Oberyn, the Doberman, who is super helpful in the agility course last weekend, pushing a friend through the tunnels. So where did Oberyn come from?
Oh, Oberyn is also based on a real-life doggo. My parents and I adopted a Doberman, about 5 years back, I want to say. And we had a theme of naming them after literary characters. Whenever I was a kid, we had Portia and Brutus, and we decided to continue forward with this, and we obviously Game of Thrones was still a huge thing at the time, so I joked, I was like, oh, let's have Oberyn the Doberman. Like, it flows off the tongue, it's very fun, it's exciting. And you know, my mother and I both love the name, my dad not so much, so Obbs is where that nickname comes from. Also in real life, right. He calls him Obbs, and it's been an interesting time. But yeah, I try to base Oberyn on his actual, you know, real life counterpart. He's a little timid at first, but then once he gets to kind of know you, he is just at your side. He's the little following you around like a puppy the whole time, but he's a very large dog. So yeah, so that's where he comes from. And when he gets excited, yeah, he gets a like a high pitch. I can't even impersonate it, but it's just a mournful sound. I can't even describe it. It's like so strange, but he's excited, but that's what noise comes out. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to emulate that like Hanklin will do with those noises, but I'll see if I can come up with something.
That's fantastic. So let's move it over to Raven the Rat Terrier. So since this is now an ongoing theme, tell us where Raven came from, but also tell us what noise Raven would make when she is excited.
Well, I'm sensing a theme here. Raven was also, in fact, based off of a real dog that I had with my now ex-husband up until about 2020. She was a tiny, we didn't really know what she was. Like, they were all just mutts. We didn't know what their parentage was. But Raven and all the characters attached to Raven are real dogs that I had in that household. Molly Blue Tick was my brother-in-law's dog. Sister Coco was the dog that, the oldest of the pack. So she was kind of like the mother, except real life Raven and Coco didn't get along that well. And then there was Crow, which was her litter mate and brother, who was in fact about twice her size, but they had about the same fur pattern, except his fur was a little bit longer. We reckoned that even though they were litter mates, they had different dads, because that's a thing that can happen with dogs, and that's something I didn't know before these dogs. And then Dapper, who seemed like he was constantly sweet on her, and like it was almost like he was constantly following her around, wanting to groom her, wanting to be near her, and him and Crow wound up fighting a lot. But Raven was very animal aggressive, and outside of the animals in her pack, she didn't want anything to do with any dogs. If there was like a rat or a raccoon or anything in the yard, she would chase it down and try to fight it. And the scar that's on her muzzle was a real life scar that the raven in the game had as well, because she actually stuck her nose through the fence to sniff at the neighbor dog, and the neighbor dog, gave her what for, because this is my territory. The sound that she would make when she got excited, she would normally start off with a little high pitched yippee, like, like woof, 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 like very high pitched, very very short and terse. She didn't really howl. She was just little high pitched yip. It was her brothers that tended to howl.
Yeah.
But she would, if there was something outside on the road, she would let you know, because hey, this is my territory. She's very territorial.
Nice. Now, since we have had discussions of everybody else bringing a former family dog into the world, and I know for sure that Bubz is also a former family dog. So, did you bring any former family pets or current family pets into the campaign thus far? You are muted, my friend.
Oh yes, I had to. Given a web creator of Pugmire, like many of the dogs that you see mentioned in the core book were dogs of his, or people he knew. Like Murrah was one of his pugs, and Harrison is based off of Harry. He was an absolutely amazing pug that we rescued a good number of years back now, and just a delightful, unfortunately clever being, and insanely willful as pugs are wont to do. He got into plenty of trouble whenever he was left to his own devices, or for the split seconds where you're not paying attention to him. He would find a way to just be the center of attention that day. But as for noises, pugs aren't like normal dogs, unless they want to be. They make all sorts of sounds, lots of snorts, sometimes chirps, unless he was angry. And then he would do his best impersonation of dog, which was very convincing. Like, because most of the time Harry's voice was high-pitched. Again, the largest of the toy breeds, of course, he's going to be high-pitched. But the few times where he ever felt like threatened or thought one of his people were threatened, all of a sudden it went from pug to, oh, okay, I have to be a dog now. And all of a sudden, from this tiny clown of a creature emerged like, okay, I'm going to do I'm going to channel Terrence Mann for a moment, and just whoop, whoop. And it was like, okay. We're all just going, where the hell did this come from? But yeah, Harrison Pugs, based on Harry. And then for those of you who caught episode 1, all of the cats are the current household cats here. So Duchess Reepicheep is based off of our Himalayan, our dust bunny. And then there is Lady Willow, who is a recent rescue by my roommates. And Their longtime cat, Jinxifer, is Lord Jinxifer, and that is his full name, Jinx most of the time, or his chonkness, or the large one, are many of the different names and titles Jinxifer holds. He is a orange tabby Maine Coon mix. He is massive.
Wow.
Like, there's some padding, but most of it's muscle, and he thinks he's tiny, which is an issue. Willow still has a bit of the wild in her, and it tries to get into any place that's high up or any place with a window. She is lean, but she is not bright. Neither does she have great spatial awareness. So many things get knocked over in her pursuits of high places, much to everyone's chagrin. And then there's Reapercheap, who, if Maggie Smith was a cat, that's Reapercheap.
But she is a cat.
She, fair enough. She has her schedule, her places about the house, and she will talk to you when she wants something. She wants precisely. She has trained us all into what certain chirps and meows mean. Like, there's certain pitches that tells us, okay, I need to go and fix the water bowl. Okay, I need to go and give you more food. Precisely 3 pets, please. No more than 3 pets. Unless it's my spouse, they are allowed more than 3 pets. The rest of us no. And yeah, like, I thought I had a chair downstairs, the old blue recliner for those of you long-term Encounter fans. Yeah, that chair's no longer mine. That's Reapercheap's chair. It is now entirely hers. Her fur says so. As if anyone puts their butt down, their butt goes from whatever color it was to white. There is no way to get all of her off that chair. We've tried. So, yeah, a lot of the different creatures and entities you will see will be based off of critters in real life. As again, I take my cues from the creator, and Eddie put so much of himself and the animals that were important to him in his life, and I feel like the only way to truly honor that is to do so myself.
Awesome. And chat is talking about the nicknames of their cats, which is great. My 2 cats, you saw Totoro in my arms earlier. He is my old man cat. He is Sir. Usually shouted when he is in the sink. And then Lilith is my little void kitten, who you've probably seen on other streams with me in one-shots. And she is 5 months old, and her full name is Madam Lilith of Mim, because, you know, she does act a little bit like Madam Mim from the Sword and Stone. So yeah, that's awesome. As far as the other doggos that have shown up that have been named, I would love to pay homage to the fact that the 2 Great Pyrenees, was that what they were? They were named after
Great Pyrenees.
They were named after my dad's husky, Nikita, the mischievous one, which I was like, yes, got it. And then the other one is Kuma, who is my cousin's Newfoundland. So I loved all of that. I loved all of that. Speaking of last week's episode, how is everybody feeling after Bubz's meticulously planned team building exercises. Anybody who wants to.
So, who wants to comment about their experience now that they have
Now that
been
he's not
through
here, he can't
Bubz's-
say anything.
Yeah,
I think
those
it
who
was
have been through
great.
Bubz's course.
I think it was fun. I think the mental images going through my head as those scenes were playing out were amazing and hilarious. And I think if they weren't friendly with each other beforehand, we've shared a moment now. So I think we definitely got some team building going on.
Mhm.
I very
I had
much
a lot of
agree
fun.
with that. Yeah, I thought it was fun, like that we had to teamwork some things and some stuff we were competing against each other with. I thought that was a really nice blend, and Marcus did a great job setting that up.
Yeah. And everybody had a little bit of something to add to it. You were gonna say, Celeste?
Oh no, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I think we got what we really needed with that episode, and that was a good heavy dose of just Bubz's absolute chaos.
Mhm.
And like, gosh, after having missed out on him for the most part the previous episode, what we needed was a good like Bubz centric episode, and that really hit the spot. To be honest, it was really
Definitely. Definitely. Now, how are we all feeling about Daxi, Queen of Puns? Because puns are my favorite thing. They give me life, but I don't know how the rest. Well, I know how Pope feels about it, but we're ignoring Pope right now. How do the rest of you feel about it?
I'm very positive about puns.
Listen,
Daxi is a blessing on this world. Let's be clear about that first off. And I have been missing her name this whole time, so I'm gonna call myself out. It's not Daxi Dachshund, it's Daxi, like taxi. So if I say that incorrectly, please call me out because that is a beautiful name. Yeah, but like the puns are such a core part, I think, of Pugmire, and not only Pugmire, but Monarchies of Mao, because I literally played a Monarchies of Mao campaign before coming to Pugmire, and it was just like, how many can we pack into a session? And it was beautiful. It was a really good time.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I think if y'all are looking for puns, you might be barking up the wrong tree.
Come over to my orchard. It'll be great. So I don't know if you all find this after having Pugmire infused in your veins from these past few weekends, but when you go out and you see good doggos, do you try to figure out what class they are? Because I tell you, this past weekend I was walking around Atlanta with my mother, and that is what we did. So like we saw a big old bulldog, and I was like, oh, bulldog. You know, a bulldog is like a dwarf fighter, all muscle, right here in the chest.
There is a corgi that lives near us that I've encountered a couple of times on my late night trips to fetch the mail. Their owner has a tendency to walk them late at night, and the couple of times that I've attempted to interact with this dog, they have responded with the loudest possible voice, and I'm certain they're a bard with like largely sonic spells. Sonic damaging spells, because I was sure they were going to wake up the entire block.
Yeah, the little Pomeranian Chihuahua mix next door, also very much a bard. Anybody else?
So I used to be part of a stream. My first streaming group that I created was called Of Dice and Dames, and something that we like to do for our fans and for our own like pets is we would turn them into character sheets, and we would had a certain style that we would do, and we would put them fully statted out, and we would send them out to people, and it was post them on social media and stuff. So yes. This is a regular hobby of mine. If you want a statted out animal, talk to me. I will make one for you.
Oh my goodness. I feel like your Twitter is going to get inundated by me. What about you, Drakku?
I'll be honest, I don't know if I've done that. I have definitely considered alignment charts all the time. Like when I try to describe an animal, I mean, even my two cats right now, Gilgamesh is 100% chaotic evil, and Inky is neutral evil.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna and we'll see when they grow up. Like we'll see if they kind of get a little bit better. But yeah, I've definitely used alignment charts on animals for sure.
Yeah. So, Pope, do you go and look for animals that will end up as our NPCs for this game?
Go looking, not so much, but have them happen, yes, often. Like it is hard to be in rural Florida and not be bombarded by critters. The largest bird rehabilitation group is like all of 5 minutes from my house. So there's just critters everywhere. Cows, horses, what have you. And also, I grew up in a swamp. I moved to Orlando, but I grew up in the swamps of South Florida. I have had encounters with alligator snapping turtles that just happened to be in the culvert, or baby gator in the pond. A soft-shell turtle that would come up to our door because my dad liked to go and feed the critters in the pond with all sorts of stuff. And after he hadn't done it for a while because there was flooding, Mama Softshell came up to the door knocking, going, "Where's our food?" So, yeah, no, my life has been nothing but animals. As for classes, not quite so often, but I'll give another one with Harry. Quick tale. So, previous house to this one had folks in the before times over for game, and Harry would insist on having a seat at the table. So I'd have to put him up on a chair where he could see everybody, and he never had a full character sheet, but was often featured as the familiar of insert wizard here. Also, he is the birthing of an entire new unique type of familiar in a long time ago, another age Pathfinder game, which is the Puggin. Someone thought it was a good idea to cross a pseudo dragon with a pug, and that is now a thing that exists. It has a breath weapon of fire, and it likes to use it to melt cheese. So, as for classes, not quite so much, but for other things, oh, most definitely.
Awesome. Sorry, that was too funny. Okay, so given that Pugmire has sentient dog adventures, sentient cat, maybe cat adventurers. But we know that dogs are, at the very least, omnivores. So are cats. So the question is, where, and I'm not asking Pope, I'm asking my players, where do you think that line ends for that intelligence? Is it only with mammals? Or is it something else? Just spitball. We're philosophizing now.
I think it comes to a matter of intelligence, right? Like, not everything is like has a functioning like society. And even in monarchies of Mal, they have cats that are like anthropomorphic cats, but they also have pet cats that are like walk on all fours. Like, only certain animals reach sentience in this realm, if I'm understanding it correctly. So, like, Hanklin would never go attack a cat and eat a cat from the monarchies of Mal. That would be horrifying, even just to like come up with. But deer, I would say, would be something he would hunt. He used the raccoon pelts in the festival because that is something that just exists in like nature. But yeah, nothing sentient.
Gotcha. Because we were talking about Pope living in Florida and all the critters, and I've recently thought about that cold snap that they had and all the iguanas falling from the tree. Sitting here going, how much would that freak dogs out? Our adventure party out. They go to the Bog of Bones and, oh, what is that? Is it a toy? Is it food? What is it? Is it food? Is it frozen food? Is it a lizard sickle?
Concern.
I have killed the narrator. It's fine. It's fine. So who all so with the way that Pugmire is, where you're both being dogs, but you also have all of your skills. What skills are you looking forward to using to show the real adventuring prowess of your good dogs?
I'm gonna be totally honest. I want to get in a fight.
Yeah, let's go.
I know that's not the focus. I know that's not the focus.
Well, I mean,
But,
if you're defending innocence like a good doggo would, what would you be willing to fight for?
I think if it
Better
turned out
assist
that
him,
Reagan...
and I'm like, no.
I know that as far as like if we were to manage to locate Raven's family, if they wound up being in danger, she would go absolutely nuts to try and save them.
What about Oberyn?
Yeah, I was pulling up my character sheet because literally the personality traits I picked for him, what's most important to him is helping the unfortunate, and his flaw is no matter what, I just can't see anyone come to harm. So he's definitely a fighter, but that might also, you know, that little protective streak might also be his downfall, in that, you know, if he sees something, he's gonna try to intervene and help out where he can, even if he might get overwhelmed eventually.
Hanklin? How about you?
For Hanklin, for his build specifically that I would like to come out, I actually built him to be pretty smart. So he spends a lot of his time out in the land, right? But he collects books to every town he goes through. And so he's read through an eclectic amount of information. So I think bringing up the fact that he's not just a big brawn dumb would be fun. He's actually, he loves talking to Daxi because Daxi is so smart and has a different perspective, and he would love to swap some books with Daxi and have some conversations, but also be useful in that he helps them like survive off the land. Yeah, then making some dinner, and he's like, oh, I found these like wild onions, and here's a rabbit we can skin, stuff like that. Just like helping enrich people's lives and minds. That would be fun for me.
Book and Bark Club, let's go.
Yeah, exactly. Book and Bark Club.
Yeah. Has anybody had a favorite NPC yet that you've met?
Harrison gives me life. Oh, that pointer too.
Take!
Oh.
Oh man. And then when it got brought up again last week, oh that made me very happy. It was so subtle. It was so subtle, but it was great. So as players, how do you get hyped for the game? Even on days, and this is probably a good thing to talk about today, because, you know, everybody seems to have a lot going on. So let's talk about how you get yourself hyped. How you get yourself, you know, you have enough energy to play. How do you get in the mood for playing? And we'll go backwards. Let's start with Drakku.
Well, first, I eat a scrumptious food, even if I'm not hungry, because food gives me at least a little bit of energy. So that's usually like I do a lot of self-care, mostly to kind of prep before a game. And to be honest, and y'all probably notice it too, whenever anytime I play, it takes me a little bit to get into character and like into the game, but honestly, I feed off of other people's energy as well. So like when I'm here and like Bubz is being chaotic, Daxi's ripping out those puns, you know, Hanklin's being adorable, Raven's being just this chaotic, aggressive, just fight me. Like I love that. And so it helps me to then really get energized about it, just being around the other characters and just kind of getting to experience it. So I may not be everybody, because it, you know, slow burn. I'm a slow burn enthusiast. Like it takes me a minute, but then once I'm in. So that helps.
Yeah. Like a diesel engine. You gotta wait for it to warm up a little.
Yeah. I gotta idle for a little bit.
Yeah. How about you, Celeste? How do you get
so
prepped?
Fun fact, I in order to make this work, I basically had to say that I'd be working morning shifts every Sunday for a while, and then getting off a little bit earlier than I normally would. I only work like a 7-hour shift, and then I come right home for the game, which is why you usually see me in my uniform shirt. But so like, I think it's the fact that I'm getting to leave work a little early for this that really gets me going. And like, I kind of have to do my self-hyping in the lulls between spurts of guests at work, and my hyping in the morning as I'm waking up. My typical hype method usually involves listening to character playlists or just music in general, but for a lot of my games I have character playlists. Unfortunately for this one, I haven't managed to put together a playlist for Raven yet. I've been thinking about it in the back of my mind. I might have something together by the time we get to the end of our run. But for a lot of my characters on a lot of shows I've been on, character playlists are usually the way that I go. That's how I get into character.
I'm here for it. And think about that, because I'm going to bring that up later. And Hanklin.
So I'm actually a little bit so sorry. I did not mean to interrupt you. I'm actually a little bit similar to Celeste here. I also had like specific songs I listened to, and I also made a what's it called? a mood board for Hanklin that has like pictures of Hanklin and quotes and like the tenets that he keeps in the forefront of his mind, things he learned growing up. So that helps me get into that right mindset. And also, I hope this does not make me sound insincere, but generally when I'm about to play Hanklin, I start paying people a lot of compliments because that's the way that Hanklin does. I'm like, oh, your lipstick looks fire today. Stuff like that. But it is sincere. I am commenting on things that I like. It's not just a tool to get me into that headspace. Now I'm like,
you're opening your
spiraling.
eyes to it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. That's awesome. And one of the people who has to do the most prep here, Pope, how do you prep for game? You thought I was ignoring you the whole time, didn't ya?
A little. Every game is different for me, because each one of them presents their own benefits, own challenges. I find Pugmire is my shower thoughts game. That's where this one comes from. Like, it's that, like, you have those moments alone as the hot water is hitting. What thoughts cross the mind, and it's all this stuff for this particular game. So a lot of that is just, part of the regular routine is getting stuff for this game. Also, like with stream stuff, unless it's a one shot, a lot of what I do for preparing is a lot of on the front end as opposed to day of. So I try and give myself like an arc, just a set of like, okay, here are these different narrative beats I would like to get to, and what happens in between is more prepped during the week. Like, okay, so have these few beats here. That way I can, depending on who we've got at any given day, expand or contract. Also, the biggest tip I can give everyone is as long as you're not doing something super like sci-fi or even more challenging, hats off to you, Trooper, doing something that is, historical. If you have magic, you can make people disappear. So you can have folks get, so someone gets kidnapped by a fae. That's going to be a plot point for later. Or fall out of reality, or, they're held up for a bit and teleported by a friendly wizard. Like, all these different things can be part of your toolbox. Also, cancellations happen, and you may have, only a few episodes to get the plot line. So it's being willing and able to kill your darlings and go, I don't need that, and toss it, and just keep that core. And this is why I love doing this. Have that core narrative plot line of going, I want to hit this beat, this beat, this beat. These are the things that I absolutely must have. And then everything from there being likes. I would like to get to this moment. I would like to get to that moment. But I don't need to. And having that compartmentalized helps me a lot.
Mm-hmm. So, for the cast, I'm gonna say that I have 2 more questions. I'm gonna ask this one, and then we're gonna open up to chat. And if chat has any questions for the cast, now is your time to get those in right now. So first question for our cast, because I feel like people need to be reminded of it. What is your character's driving purpose. And let's start with Celeste, because I want to put you on the spot. I don't know why.
Well, thankfully, Ravens is easy because I've already set it up and textually stated it, that she's looking for her missing brothers. But additionally to that, she having been raised in a church and having been raised by a shepherd, she does want to be to follow the tenets of man as best she can, and she does want to be a good dog. And that has, up to the point of her brothers going missing, been her sole motivation, is just to be the best good dog she can possibly be. And she doesn't always succeed at that, but boy does she try really hard.
Nice. Hanklin.
So they have different things in Pugmire where you have like personality traits to help you define. You have these questions you have to answer. And one of them, the ideal is, what is the most important to me is stay safe as much as possible, is one for Hanklin. But then the second one is, I am inspired to not lose another friend. Yeah. And so Hanklin has lost people before, and because of cowardice, and he's hoping to stay safe and not have to go through that another time.
Hopefully he won't, and maybe that will come up in the in some of the camping things. And thank you, Rian's Drawings, for rating. We are doing a Q&A with the cast of Pugmire and the narrator. So if you have questions for our wonderful cast of good doggos, now is the time to give us your questions. So Drakku, we touched upon Oberyn's personality, but does he have a driving purpose?
So Oberyn, he grew up in an orphanage, so he doesn't really have very many familial connections. Again, also basing this off of real life Oberyn, so there we go. And so his drive, really, he kind of grew up with people telling him one thing, but when he got out in the world, he realized, oh, that's not really true at all. So his drive, it's not so much that he's trying to make up for who he was or anything, but like he recognizes that, oh, that was a problem, let's never let that happen again. So that's kind of what pushes him forward, is to be a good dog, is to just make sure that dogs or cats are not really getting taken advantage of like he potentially was earlier in life. So
excellent. So Hope, do you have any questions, any burning questions for your party of doggos?
The thing that I always like to ask with them games, especially with so many wonderful storytellers here, is what's a story or system or that you really want to get a crack at in that sort of GMC that you haven't done yet? Like, what's one that's calling to you?
So I know one, if people don't mind if I go first here. Long time ago, I don't even remember how long ago, I was on this channel playing Parslings, and I loved the system so much, and the way that words define who you are and how your character interacts with the world around you. And I would love to do like a campaign of character growth through gaining new words and how other people perceive them. I think that would just be so much fun. I would love to play that game again and run that game and mess with people.
I would play that game.
So as far as I didn't get my start with this system, but I definitely made a lot of the connections and stuff that I have today through this system and through a very particular table. I would love to take a crack at running masks. I really enjoyed playing that, and I really would love to get a chance to be on the other side of the GM screen for that one. I am still fairly new as a GM, trying to really build myself up, and I think the next step, the next push I need to give myself is a short campaign. But I think masks would be a good one.
Nice.
I have been wanting to run a mothership module for years at this point. I got to demo some of it at Gen Con long time back, and I bought stuff there at the table, and it's literally been sitting on my game shelf just waiting, and so that's definitely one that's high up on my list. I personally, I like kind of like scarier or like horror based ones like that. That's kind of my thing. I like it. Cult is also kind of on there. I feel too new a GM to really do cult justice, so that's on my list. I want to do that. But for absolute funsies, I've got Monsters of Murica, and I need to run something with that game. Oh, it's so funny.
Nice. I think if we're also asking me, I want to take another crack at Static Dawn, which is by Frenzy Kitty Games. We started to run it on Penny for a Tale, but then the cast scheduling just fell apart. So it's sometimes that happens. But I'd love to take another crack at doing some like cyberpunk type storytelling, because I love that futuristic setting where you've got like implants and things like that. I think that's really cool. That and Thirsty Sword Lesbians, but I may have a type with my games. The gayer the game, the better.
Oh man, you need to talk to me after this.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Okay, so our chat has clearly been enthralled with us and could not come up with any questions. That's okay. I know. Look at this cast. Look at this cast. They're gorgeous, and they're not even trying. I have to put on makeup to match them. So, for my final question, give me one song on your character, or in Pope's case, the campaign. Give me one song on your playlist for your character.
Father's Lament by Poor Man's Poison. It is just this wistful, beautiful song, and it hits my heart, my Hanklin heart. I'll put the name in chat in case people want to look it up.
Yeah, do it. Celeste, do you have any that come to mind? You inspired this question, so.
Yeah, I know. So I've got like a almost a sound font in mind for Raven, and I think the thing that fits the most is Breath of Life by Florence and the Machine.
Ooh, that's a good one. Go ahead and put that in chat too, so people can look that
Yeah.
up. If somebody's making a Pugmire playlist for our game, I want to know about it. I want you to put it in the chat or put it in our Discord. By the way, we have a Discord. There's that. Okay. And then Drakku, what is a song on your playlist, or Oberyn?
I'll be honest, I don't do the whole song thing, so this is a little bit of a struggle. But honestly, the first thing that came to mind was Johnny Cash, just anything Johnny Cash, purely because it's just young kid edgelord enough that it kind of matches a younger Oberyn personality. You know what I mean? There's that high school kid that's always, you know?
I have a song because I was that edgelord kid.
Yes.
And I think the one that comes to mind most with Oberyn is The Beast in Me.
Ooh, okay. Yes, no, that's good. That's good.
Because it has that mournful sound.
Yeah.
My first thought was Somewhere I Belong from Linkin Park.
Oh, yes. See, y'all are good at this. I honestly, like, until I started guesting on like Weave the Tale and such, I had never even considered doing like a playlist or anything for my character. Like, so it's something that I'm still getting used to, but yeah, those are both excellent suggestions.
Pope, do you have a song? Or and if you say
Yes.
Who Let the Dogs Out, I will throw you out. I will kick you from this conversation.
A lot of Pugmire comes to me via stuff like Redwall, and also Humblewood, and so there's a song called Eulalia by Sir, and that one just sort of encapsulates like the heroic sort of theming, and it has just the right like note, tone, pacing that when I'm going through the pages of this graphic novel, because everything's comics for me, flipping through those pages, that song is what's playing in the background. So no, that's definitely the theme if I were giving any one to this game.
I feel like if I were to add to this playlist for the game, I would choose Least of My Kind by Michael Kelly. Basically a werewolf comes into a camp and basically says, "Oh, you think you can take me? I am the least of my kind." So I love all that. So we are coming to the end of this this wonderful, amazingly insightful interview. I want to, as usual, give everybody a chance to plug their stuff, and we will start with M. Once I can get my controls correct. There we go.
Hi everyone, I am M. You can find me and my TTRPG obsessed Twitter up here, AnthramaStreams. I am part of the Level 1 Geek team. I do a lot of design work for them. I DM on Monday nights. Tuesday nights I play in a competitive TTRPG setting. And this Tuesday, I am going to be in an arena match against the Foresight faction. So come root for the Powder Pack. We need some more love. We're crafters extraordinaire. We're all very small. We have Sprite, we have Rat Folk, and we have a little kobold. And my kobold is obsessed with finding the perfect hat. Finally has, if you would like to see it, is right here. It is a crown. Because what is better for a little draconic fellow but a crown? Isn't that great? On Wednesday, I will be guesting over with Victory Condition Gaming, where we will be doing the final round of the Power Rangers RPG. I am playing the Black Comedic Ranger. That's kind of my niche. And that's all I've got going for myself this week. I have loved being here. Love being here every week. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Excellent, excellent. And we are going to go ahead and say, hey, Drakku. What are you up to? Where do people find you?
Well, I am Drakku. You can find me at Drakku on most places, including Twitter, except for on Twitch, where somebody took it. So you can find me at Drakku3690 here on Twitch. I'm a variety streamer. I have finally started streaming again, much to my internet's chagrin, but we are doing our best. And if you want to catch me in more TTRPGs, obviously here on Sundays with this wonderful crew. I love everybody. And on Tuesday nights over on Rule of Lore at 6:30 p.m. Central is a Waterdeep Dragon Heist campaign. We are in our second season. My character, who is also a kobold that loves hats, I stole Volo's hat, just FYI. I thought you might appreciate that. We just got his, my kobold is a lord now. He has an island and a keep and everything, so his little mind is just blown right now. And you can also catch me if you want to listen to some D&D. We have a 5e actual play podcast called D&D Disaster Story, where all of our characters chose intelligence as their dump stat. It is chaotic and super, super fun. We've got new episodes that just released very recently. And yeah, it's a great time. D&D Disaster Story on Twitter if you want to find us.
Fantastic. I forgot that I was running this show because I was so absorbed in it. Celeste, where can we find you on the interweb?
Hi, I'm Celeste PLS with way too many underscores on Twitter. I'm Celeste Shepherd here on Twitch. I don't do a whole lot of streaming of my own, but you can catch me on other people's channels several times throughout the week, like right here, right now on Pugmire, and next week, obviously. It's going to be a good time, and I can't wait to get back to these good dogs, but I will wait as long as it takes. And then, let's see, I still have an NDA that I can't talk about. And then, I don't know, Pope, are we talking about the thing yet? Or are we
I think we can talk about the thing. That is going to be not next week, but the week after next, on the 6th at 9:30 p.m. Eastern over on Matev7's channel. Premiere of a new show. Urban Shadows Darkness Falls. And Celeste is playing a very interesting, somewhat terrifying character.
I don't want to talk too much about it. I want to give people a reason to come watch so they can learn about my character. But I can say that you'll probably enjoy it if you're a fan of creepy dolls. That's the only hint you're getting. Leaves them wanting.
Okay. I'm terrified now. And certainly not least, but for now, last. Pope. Where can we find you, my friend?
Hey everybody, Pope here. Popeworldbuild on Twitter, Popeworldbuild on Twitch. I lurk in all your streams. If you want to see more of my ridiculous face, you get a number of opportunities throughout your week and month. There's a lot going on. I'm not quite noir busy, but I'm busy. So coming up on Monday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern here on Weave. There's a lot of Weave this week. Simbaru, where you can catch me playing Mavrin, a priest of Pyros who has gotten himself into too much trouble with not necessarily the most reputable of friends, and is almost certainly going to meet a terrible end. So if you want to see me just scream and try my best to save everyone and fail, tune in for that. Then on Wednesdays, it's a double feature. First, 2 p.m. Eastern over on Follow Black Cats. Get down with the most disastrous of spies in Hexcrawl the Spy game, we left off in a slightly precarious, some would say explosive situation, as our safe house had been broken into, and our explosives expert, Odin, just decided to look up in time to see that there was some sort of device duct taped to the ceiling, and yeah, that's not going to end well. So if you want to see how that plays out, tune in for that. 2 p.m. Eastern, follow Black Cats. Then that evening over here on Weave the Tale, masks, lots and lots of masks, as we have a one-shot by Spencer. Not Spence, but Spencer, our good friend.
Not me.
And yeah, just had the session 0 before coming on today, and they wanted me to be my most gremlin self, so I'm going to play a delinquent whose handle is Wiley. So if you want to see me get everyone else in trouble and possibly make things explode, also rearrange all the exhibits at a Natural History Museum, that was part of our history, just had to, convince one of the few people who could phase through walls to just collect all the human skulls so it could make a throne. This is the sort of energy that we're taking into this game, so please tune in for that. I believe that's at 8:30 p.m. Eastern here on Weave the Tale. Then we have a few days clear, and then Saturday night, Defiant is back over on Valdrian's channel. You get to see me play my Reformed Devil as our first case of mystery and terrible, horrific violence came to a close, and there's consequences, there's ramifications, and there's, like, if you want some supernatural intrigue during an apocalypse, definitely tune in for that. I am looking forward to having some very particular scenes, including an infernal breakfast club and getting a one-on-one with my angel wife. So that's a complicated relationship, folks. If you're interested in that sort of just urban fantasy chaos life, tune in for that. That's 9 p.m. Eastern over on Valdrian's channel. And then be back here on Sundays, 3 p.m. Eastern, for more Pugmire. Hopefully we will have all our good dogs. I have already taken note of the subscriber count. There will be an item of some potency that could be found by our good doggos in the Bog of Bones. So you're going to have to tune in next week to see how that all plays out. Thank you all so much for being here, whether live, vlog, or YouTube. The story is nothing without its audience. Thank you all so much for being a part of this, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Absolutely. And if you are wondering when we will get some lovely Weaver Circle in, that is coming in March. So keep your eyes peeled. We will be hopefully getting our other 2 good doggos on here and chatting with them. But we will also be talking about streamer health, streamer mental health. We will be talking about making the table as inclusive as it should be, and welcoming and inviting people who don't look like yourself to the table, and how to do so as best as you can without hurting anybody's feelings. But that is for the next time. Be sure to check out all of our wonderful sponsors, which have been listed in the chat. And if you have enjoyed any of our shows, please feel free to check out our Patreon. All of the funds do go to support our wonderful cast. Thank you all so much for letting me hijack your stream. And we will see you all next week. Take care, everybody. I have to remember how to end this thing. Hold on.